Yesterday, I saw Masters of the Universe, a supposed 4-quadrant movie that they feel will appeal to everybody. Now, it's not doing all that well, and unfortunately I think that's probably due to the marketing campaign, which focused more upon how the film tackles toxic masculinity rather than being a fun, action-packed extravaganza, which is surprisingly loyal to the original 80s cartoon material, for better or for worse. After all, He-Man is probably one of the most memed cartoons that there is. From Skeletor to Laughing He-Man, it's camp, endlessly memeable. Perfect fodder for a film, right? Can they even pull this off? Is this even a film that can get out of the cinema with some level of dignity intact? Well, let's find out. So, He-Man Masters of the Universe, summed up, is a derivative yet fun, action-packed romp, paying homage to both the 80s cartoon and a surprisingly touching cameo from Dolph Lundgren. It nonetheless manages to come out mostly unscathed. I had a good time watching this film. It's a lot of fun. The soundtrack in particular is exceptional. Synth 80s rock. It's joyous. When it kicks in and the guitars are squealing and action's on stage, it looks great. Travis Knight has done a brilliant job directing it. Some of the editing, a little bit patchy. Overall, the film is too long, at 2 hours and 12 minutes. Actually, the same length as Mandalorian and Grogu. I would have definitely cut 15 minutes, and this would include a lot of the jokes. Ah, yes, the jokes. This film is constantly making jokes. It's a shame, because there's quite a few moments where there's pathos in this movie, and it's not allowed to land. It just moves straight on. It's like the film is afraid to make a point without breaking it with some stupid joke. So let's look at the overall story behind the movie. The film starts off on Eternia. Eternos is under attack suddenly from Skeletor's forces as he looks to get the Sword of Power. We're kind of meant to believe this is the first time. I mean, you even have one of the cast, I think it may even be Idris Elba's man-at-arms, Duncan, helpfully tell the king, "We're under attack," as lasers are raining from the skies. No shit, Captain Obvious. Like Bumblebee from Transformers, this opening setup is pure fan service. You get to see Mechanic, you get to see Trapjaw, Man-at-Arms. Yeah, his race swapped, and quite how the very unmelanated Teela is his daughter, which obviously makes sense in the cartoon because they're both white, and doesn't now because one of them is Idris Elba, who's definitely not white. But Idris Elba can be anything, so that, that's fine.
I'm Idris Elba. I'm Idris Elba. A DJ, dancer, writer, actor. I do it all. What's that?
It's all action, fighting, Jared Leto chewing not just the scenery, just everything in sight as Skeletor. Heroic last stand. Adam sent back to Earth with the sword to keep the sword safe and loses the sword. And that's like your prologue bit all set up. The film then goes to Adam on Earth. He works in HR, and as much as people have said that this film is woke, they're not paying attention. It's not. It sends up woke. One of the people in the HR meeting literally has blue hair, and another one has a stereotypical SJW kind of cardigan on and is talking about her truth and stuff like that. The film's not taking any of this seriously. It sends up the stereotypical HR passive-aggressive manager. It's not on the side of the woke, trust me. So obviously from there we know that Adam, gets back to Eternia, and for the sake of spoilers, I'll kind of leave it at that point. One thing I will say about this film is the plot is as derivative as it comes. Ruined ex-hero, check. The power is inside you all along, check. It's snarky robot companion voiced by Kirsten Wiig, check. There's nothing new about this film. Nothing new about this film at all. It is as by the numbers as it comes, but it's all packaged with such a affection for the source material, genuinely authentic designs. This isn't like Transformers where it's all been Bayified. The characters look like the characters. The vehicles look like the vehicles. A little bit updated slightly, obviously, not quite so crude, but the designs are the designs that you saw back in those cartoons. They're not all wearing the correct costumes. Teela's not wandering around in a miniskirt, much more she's the updated sort of jodhpurs and tunic type thing. But there's a post-credit sequence that's got covered for that, if that's what you want to see, as well as setting up other entries in the franchise. So keep an eye out after the credits. Suicide Squad and Guardians of the Galaxy kind of ruined films. In every film now, we get pop action songs played. In this, you've got there's a bit of Blondie, there's a bit of what's going on. You know, it's that kind of James Gunnification of a movie where every movie's trying to hit that kind of formula. He-Man's very much like that. But it's all packaged up in this raucous sense of just wanting to be fun and pointing a knowing finger at itself and taking the piss out of itself. Because, you know, as I said, He-Man is endlessly memeable. And they even do those memes. Like, one of the bits in the post-credit sequences, like the end of the cartoon, where they do like a little moral message and they'll stand around ha 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 laughing, you know, the more you know kind of thing. And there's all of this in it that makes it very hard to not like the film. Is it a great film? No, it's not. It is too derivative, it is too long, and it's too jam-packed full of jokes. Nothing's allowed to land. Any moments of pathos are immediately extinguished as a funny is made. We didn't really need 5 minutes straight of them taking the piss out of Fisto's name. But at the same time, it's hard not to appreciate what they've done here. And I think it has stuck the landing. I really do. As with regards to the anti-marketing and the toxic masculinity, yes, it does deal with that to a certain extent, but not in a woke way. Essentially, in another fairly derivative kind of piece of storytelling, He-Man is encouraged that being masculine is more than just being aggressive and violence. You know, being masculine, I think most dudes would agree, is about protecting those that you care about, sometimes through force or violence. When anything else fails, it doesn't cast down the manosphere, as anybody would say. He-Man has always been a reluctant hero. He gets transformed by this power of Grayskull. Sometimes the only way to deal with something is by punching it, but he was never a barbarian. He was never going around just constantly looking for fights and violence. And in that way, I think the film treads the line very well. Teela isn't completely insufferable. Most of the characters get a little bit of time to do something. Jared Leto is quoting Skeletor nearly precisely from the cartoons. You doddering dolts and stuff like that. Chewing the scenery, going between camp and menacing, and it is a performance to behold, that's for sure. Alison Brie as Evil Lynn doesn't quite work. Also, you never make her blonde, Jesus. Likewise, when Adam becomes He-Man, he is just still Adam. When in the cartoons, he was almost like a more... The difference of changing between a boy and a man, the personality was different. In this, it is just the same guy with the same doubts, just he's got muscles now. That was a little bit weird. There's a tiny bit of slightly dodgy CGI here, a little bit of compositing that doesn't look quite as good as it could. But in all honesty, this was probably the most fun I've had at the cinema this year. I recommend it. I hope it does well. It's not doing well at the moment. I'm kind of hoping that word of mouth might drag this one back up. It was always going to be a tough one to bring back, and rather than making it a 4-quadrant movie, you should have just aimed at dads, generationally, coming with their kid to come and see this film. I think this film has been tragically mismarketed, which is a real shame. And I think that's going to affect the box office. But I see this becoming a bit of a cult classic. I think this will do well on like home release, streaming, stuff like that. I was entertained. And is that not what we go to the movies for? So, yeah, not going to change the world. not going to win any awards. It's much like the Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves, another film that was completely destroyed because they were like, oh, Chris Pratt's character is, he's demasculinized and all that kind of stuff. And it's like, no, there's nothing wrong with it. It was a fun family film. And this also is a fun family film. I'm just sick of Hollywood being their own worst enemy and marketing these films like they don't want people to go and see them. Yeah, that's your review. Please drop your thoughts down below. Give me a sub if you like what I do. Thanks very much for watching. I have been Critical, and I will be back with another video soon.